Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. On Monday, July 3rd, the stock market closed at 1 p.m. So it was a half day. Today is July 4th. Happy Independence Day. The stock market was closed. We are excited because the stock market comes back open tomorrow, which will be July 5th. Tesla had a massive bull run on Monday with 6.9% up. The other big names like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta were kind of muted, even with Nvidia, which has had a massive run in the latest months or so, had a pretty average day. At the time of this recording, the pre-market is a little bit red, but it's pretty flat. One thing that we all have to keep in mind with the first half coming to an end, Q2 coming to an end, start of quarter three, people are coming back from the holiday weekend, and it's going to be a lot of rebalancing of portfolios from a lot of these institutions. So it will be interesting to see if the money moves from the tech sector to other sectors or not. So in today's video, I'm going to do the technical analysis for 4 stocks: Apple, Google, SOFI, and Intel. These are my regular stocks that I trade on a weekly basis. If you have any request, put it in the comments and I will cover it next time as well. So without further ado, let's get into the technical analysis. Kicking it off with Apple, this, as you can see right now, we have had a massive bull run in Apple. Apple keeps making newer highs every single time, and especially this last bull run, if you see over here, the line is pretty vertical. I would say it's a vertical takeoff for Apple at this point in time. Apple has made a new all-time high at $194 and $48. On Monday it did end up closing red a little bit, so it's at $192 and $46. Now, one of the things that is interesting, that we had this real gap up over here, so it's going to be interesting to see if Apple is going to fill the gap this week or it's going to take it to the next week or so. Right now the 20-day moving average is about 185, 50 days 177, and 200 is 154. I don't like Apple right now because the RSI is overheated. Currently the RSI is trading around the 73 mark, which is overbought, and at some point of time we would see a pullback in Apple, and it's a healthy pullback. You need a pullback in Apple because Apple cannot continue to sustain these levels. Now, there was a news recently that Apple's Vision Pro headset, they are cutting down the production demand. So let's see how that news plays out with the pricing of Apple. But the earnings season also kicks off for Apple. So it will be very, very interesting to see how Apple stock behaves. But at these levels, if you are an investor, I would just ride this out and sit back. I'm not going to be investing in Apple at these elevated levels. Let's move on to our second stock, ticker symbol GOOGL, Alphabet. And I love this stock on a weekly basis because I use this for trading, especially when the stock is in this range bound mechanism. The 122.56 was a high from August 2022. Yeah, we saw Google breaking this right around the 518, 519. Couldn't touch the high from April 2022. And since then, the stock has been trying to find a good support level around the 122.56. We did see the stocks recently sliding down, coming and touching its 50-day moving average of 117.63. We are seeing the 20-day moving average is slowly curling, and now the 50-day moving average is slowly catching up towards the 20. So that's going to be a very interesting play. The range that I could play this week with Google could be between the 117, 118 to 122.56. That's the level that I think we can play Google. Now, currently Google's RSI is 48, so it's not bad. It's not oversold, not overbought, but I'll keep an eye on this one. Looking at the options watch list for this week, our 30 delta would be somewhere around the $118, which definitely comes up right over here. And this is something that we can open a cash secured put, and what you will get is about $66 on that contract. All right, moving on to our third stock, SOFI. I love this stock as well from a trading perspective, but I'm also a long-term investor in SOFI. SOFI is part of my public portfolio. I plan to do the public portfolio update sometime later this week, early next week. One of the things that I really see with SOFI, it had its massive bull run. It was trading around the 424 mark for a long time. It was in this range between 425, 5, then it will go to 7, then drop down over here. We added this additional support at 480 long time back. Since then, the stock has been on the uptrend, hit its 1023 most recently. When you have this kind of 2 wicks on opposite side, generally that's a reversal of the trend, and we kind of saw that reversal, the stock coming back down here. Now it is right around the 20 day moving average is 854. That is where we see the stock to be. Drawn this golden pocket right here for 61.8 and 65%, so between 794 and 839. And I really feel that SOFI should be building out support right over here, and this is going to help the 50-day moving average catch up to SOFI. And if SOFI can trade this until we get to the next earnings report, where we will get to hear from the company and the management their outlook on how do they see the student loan moratorium ending, how that is going to impact their bottom line. Now let's look at the options watch list. Right now the 46 delta, which most likely will be in the money by end of this week, you're looking at around getting about 20 cents or $20. If you go out couple weeks, you will notice that the 30 delta actually comes around the $8 mark, and this is where how we see the reversal. And that's why I'm looking forward to SOFI making that 794 and 813 as the new support level, and if it can maintain that for a couple weeks, we may be able to see a new uptrend in SOFI. But we'll continue to track SOFI on a weekly basis. I think technical analysis does help, especially if you're trading on a weekly basis. Moving on to the last stock, Intel, ticker symbol INTC. Now, Intel is also one of my favorite stocks when it comes to on a weekly trade. First, because Intel was also pretty range bound. I love stocks that are in range bound because then your wheel strategy just works perfectly without having any massive uptrend or downtrend, or you can call it a breakout. The scenario over here with Intel has had a $30 level, which has been respected for a very, very long time. As you can see right around here, since its fall around the September of 2022, Intel has hit the $30 level so many times. So you were able to trade Intel between the $24 and $30 range. Now Intel has broken that $30 some time back, and this was because things are improving at Intel. Intel is still one of the major companies, especially in the semiconductor space. And I think if Intel can keep doing the good work as they are doing to repair all the damages that has happened with Intel recently, I think Intel could go back to its all-time highs of 65. But that's a long-term view right now. I am trading on a weekly basis. So from a weekly standpoint, where do I see Intel at this end of the week? There's a lot of bullish momentum with Intel because first we had this massive crossover here, golden cross 616, middle of June, we had this massive bar up. So this denotes an uptrend on Intel. The 20-day moving average is heading up to about 30.67, 50 is 29.6, so very close to each other. The 200-day moving is of course, heading down. What I want to see with Intel right now is maintain this 34 level for the end of this week, and then if that will give us enough time to get into Intel for running a cash secured put. The current RSI is 56.91, so it's neither oversold. It's a pretty nice range. Tomorrow I'll be opening positions on Intel, Google, and SOFI. I'm not touching Apple, but these are three stocks that are on my radar for this week of trading. And if you have any more requests, leave it in the comments below, and I will see you next time.